What's up, everyone? Welcome to Proof of News. I am Whit Gibbs here today with my amazing co-host, Ethan Vera. Ethan, how you doing, man?
Hey Whit, how's it going?
Good, good. Ethan is living on the edge. He's got a flight here in just under 2 hours, but he couldn't go to the airport without recording Proof of News first. So thanks, Ethan.
I always feel bad getting to an airport early, and during COVID times, it's like, do I really want to sit there for 2 hours before a flight?
You know, so as a father of two with like lots of responsibilities, the airport is like it's awesome. It's like a vacuum where like nothing can occur, right? You're limited in what you're able to do. So I always find it really relaxing to get there like 2 hours early and to just like watch a show that I'm never going to get to see otherwise. You know, it's an hour of me time before I get on a flight. But good for you, man. Where are you headed? Anywhere fun?
Just to Toronto, so staying inside Canada right now. Obviously, don't want to be hit with that 14-day quarantine on the way back, so doing a lot of inner traveling.
Speaking of father of two, maybe you hear my son in the background. I'm wearing my Canadian shirt today. This is my my homage to Lumberjacks.
There you go. We'll get you a hockey stick.
I'm going to a hockey game on Sunday, actually. It's Latvia is a pretty big hockey country, so I'm looking forward to that. So there's been some interesting news this week. It's been a slower week in the news cycle for Bitcoin mining, and we're going to cover the topics that we feel are most important and most relevant. There's been some big news coming out that is questionable. WuBlockchain reported that Micree is getting ready to ship a 5 nanometer chip. Is that the correct headline that I read this morning?
Yeah, that was his Twitter post. That's calling WuBlockchain on Twitter.
So this story, and okay, so I want to back up a little bit, and this isn't a shot at Colin. I don't know him. I think some of his stories and the tweets that he's put out are great. Some of them seem to be a little bit questionable when it comes to their validity. Do you find the same?
Yeah, it first came out when he announced that F2 Pool had decreased or sold off their stake in WhatsMiner in a tweet, which is obviously a very big headline. And then I messaged Thomas Heller and was like, I didn't even know F2 Pool was a shareholder. And then I started to realize that actually some of the F2 Pool shareholders are shareholders of WhatsMiner, but they didn't really sell their stake. And Colin Wu actually has no source on it. So yeah, I sent a personal message to Colin on Twitter, and he didn't really have a good source for it. So now everything he posts, I'm a little bit skeptical of until I see like another source confirm it. It's good to have on your radar if you post it, but I definitely wouldn't take it, as the Bible.
And, it's in his defense. I can totally vouch for the fact that stories will come out and they seem to be credible, right? There seems to be good information to back them up. And sometimes in mining, it's really, really difficult to get credible sources. And then you're left in the situation where do you seek the attention online by posting it, even though it may not be accurate? Or do you have a little bit more discernment when you do something like that? I don't know.
It's crypto Twitter, man. You got to post it.
I mean, hey, you can always chalk it up to a shit post, right? Like, it wasn't actually a story. It was just a shit post. It's been a wild week on crypto Twitter. And I mean, we're not going to get into that, but yeah, man, it's sushi everywhere. So mining focused as we are, what's going on in the world of mining? Our first story today is about Poolin getting into DeFi. Is this correct?
Yeah, I mean, that's what Dovey posted on Twitter. I was actually going to log into my Poolin account now and check it out for myself, but it looks like they launched a DeFi vault where
you mine with Poolin.
I have one rig on various pools. I gotta check out the UI
research.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I'll log in. Probably maybe waiting for the plane. But it looks like they're starting to do some things with DeFi, which is awesome. Like you brought it up on the Mining Pool Boys panel or podcast last week. So glad to see that they're using some of the ideas that we hoped generate there. But I think it's a really interesting use case for DeFi.
It's such a logical step. You talk about the massive amount of coins that are available and looking. I mean, miners are looking for something to do with the Bitcoin that they're holding or the ETH that they're holding. It only makes sense to, earn some interest on it. And right now, if you're looking at some of these APYs that are insane, why would you not? Like 30% a day for wrapping your Bitcoin and wrapping your ETH. Come on, that's crazy. But okay, so what is this with Poolin? Is it just Bitcoin? Is it for ETH miners? Like, who are they offering this to?
I think it looks like just like another one of their lending services where if you have excess currency on their platform, I'm assuming Ethereum or Bitcoin, you can then start to leverage your balance sheet a bit and earn interest, which I think is, it's a good use case for miners because you have a bunch of coins that are usually sitting there. You liquidate some to pay off your OPEX, and then you want to earn some extra return. So this is just another product that earns a miner yield. Instead of now lending it through BlockFi, you can now, go through the DeFi space, earn a higher yield. Of course, I don't know how long that's going to last. I think DeFi is still kind of a zero-sum game where every percentage point you gain in interest is probably a point that somebody else loses shitcoin trading. But for now, it's very high yields, like you said. So, I'm not sure if it's Bitcoin or Ethereum, but I think it's an interesting way to leverage the balance sheet for sure.
There's obviously growing incentive, and at this point, I guess hash rate is increasing on Ethereum or on ETH mining. So, maybe the incentive is dropping, but it seems like there's a lot of new attention on ETH mining specifically, and now apparently there's a bit of an uptick in the ETH ASICs and their deployment. Have you guys at Luxor noticed that as well? Are you guys getting more inbound leads or inquiries on ETH mining specifically?
Yeah, we had a conversation with the manufacturer last week about it. Definitely a few different large and credible players entering or looking to enter the space, which is positive news. For us, we've always been like, I don't know if Ethereum's going to go proof of stake. Do we really want to invest time into building a pool and run it and then, the entire network change on us? But talking to these manufacturers, or this manufacturer specifically, realize that there are people that have deep conviction that Ethereum will stay proof of work for at least the next few years. So
yeah,
I do think there's more people coming in.
Good. Well, that's great. I think that right now it's, from a GPU mining standpoint, just to like take that view. I can't imagine what that would do for the ecosystem if ETH goes away. There's a ton of money that's been deployed to support ETH and their infrastructure. And now if that ever did switch to proof of stake, which I don't think is going to happen in the next year or two, that'd be a massive blow. I think right now it's ETH being around is probably hurting other proof of work chains because ETH is so profitable right now. It's hard to focus your hash anywhere else, but yeah, I don't know what that would look like. Imagine a proof of work ecosystem without ETH. It's be a strange paradigm.
For sure, especially for some of the legacy guys, that hung out in the old hash rate community with those GPUs, self-mining at home, hobbyist miners, where I think those guys were some of the first Bitcoin miners ever. Obviously, as Bitcoin transitioned to ASICs, they had to now utilize their GPUs in other ways. So a lot of those guys have been mining for like 5+ years, maybe longer.
Yep. Yeah, it seems like right now, well, we can save that for another conversation. GPU mining, I think, is going to hit a level of resurgence over the next couple of months that they've been waiting for, right? The bull run so far has really impacted a lot of the DeFi tokens in a big way. Bitcoin hasn't really felt it in the way that I think a lot of us are hoping for and know it's coming soon. And the other proof of work token or coins are also in the same camp. They haven't really gotten those exponential runs. Some have, the one-offs have, like, Haven or some of those other shit coins, but there haven't really been those long sustained uptrends for a lot of these GPU mineable coins. So maybe that's on the horizon soon. Who knows? What's the rundown? What do we got next?
Well, we got a clickbait headline coming out, but this week didn't have a lot of news, so I thought we'd include it, which is Kazakhstan's government is planning a $715 million investment over the next 3 years into the crypto mining space. apparently they've attracted already around 190 in private investment. So a lot of money being poured there. Cambridge reports the country at around 6% of the world's total hash rate. So with this additional 715 mil, we could see them become a pretty good player in the space. But
that's a lot. So you think 7% is accurate?
No.
Where do you put the number at realistically? 3?
Honestly, I wouldn't even say any of my numbers are accurate. It's just so hard to tell because all of these like surveys that come out there, whether they're research reports or the Cambridge thing, they're biased to a certain sample set. So I would say that it could be between 3 and 10. I would say it would be a good bet, but I definitely wouldn't pin myself down on any number.
Well, I mean, there's definitely big facilities that are coming online. So I know that there are, there was the news about Energix that was in CoinDesk, Cointelegraph, maybe both. And they have a massive facility that can house 50,000 ASICs. And of course they have to fill it before it's, a fully functioning mining facility, but there are others as well. A couple of big players that are there that are expanding, and a lot of the old gen hardware is going there as well. There's, such good prices on power that a lot of the older generations are finding a way to Kazakhstan, and there's those mid-tier machines that we've talked about, for the past few weeks that are finding their way there as well. So yeah, I mean, it's totally possible. I think it's Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan are kind of in a little battle to see who can become the most dominant in that region for Bitcoin mining. And I mean, Kazakhstan is just making such huge leaps. We did an interview with some of the guys that are mining in Kazakhstan, and we talked about regulations and how supportive the government is being and how forward thinking and forward leaning they are. And it's great. It's great to see, I wonder now with them coming on in the way that they are, how that's going to change the dynamics elsewhere in the region. Like, are you going to see more competition come out of Russia, or is that new? Did you hear about the new rules for data center transparency that came out? I think BitRiver posted about it on Twitter.
No, I didn't. What was that about?
So I think that, and I'd need to go back to get the exact information, but basically the Russian government is requiring a higher level of reporting for all data centers, and Bitcoin mining facilities are being lumped in there, which, BitRiver views as a positive because of how they do business. Some may view as a negative. I can't speak to that one way or another, but it may cause certain facilities to not look as hard at Russia and to look instead to open in different regions or countries. So that could actually be a part of why we're seeing the big boost in Kazakhstan.
Yeah, you can marketing spin that. Say, oh, this is just a strategic partnership with the government. We announced our latest partnership.
Are we getting there? Are we getting to like the mining ICO hype, like where mining facilities are going to take that kind of approach?
I've seen quite a few mining facilities announce new partnerships with the mining pool, specifically Binance, where it's like, we're now partnered with Binance. And I'm like, well, you're using their pool services. Like, it is definitely a partnership, but it used to not be reported. And now it's funny how people are putting a marketing spin on it.
Well, I mean, technically it is a partnership, right? Like Binance gives them, no fees to use the pool. And then they get to claim that hash rate is under management, right? So it works. And then Binance anyways. But no, I get what you're saying. It's, hopefully we're past that hype bubble.
No, I think a larger trend though that you're highlighting is like governments getting involved with mining, because this is direct government investment, the 715 million. And we definitely haven't seen that in Canada or the US. Is that something that ends up happening? Probably not. But I think the government will need to, if it wants to support the local industries, just be, more supportive, more clear regulations. You're seeing that now in Wyoming, Dakota. So I think that's like really what the North American governments can do to support the industry. Be, obviously not going and just writing a huge check.
Think we could ever get a $715 million check out of Donald Trump? Come on. Donnie T, investing in the Bitcoin mining infrastructure, the future of finance. Get him to rebrand Trump Tower. Just put a big Bitcoin B right on there. Be good times. So in this slow news week that we have had, what is story number 3 this week?
Probably Canaan. So Canaan reported earnings last week. It was a mediocre performance. Honestly, they were down 26% year-over-year revenue from the first half of 2020, but their profit was up and their margins are increasing. So kind of a mixed bag result there. I think the interesting thing here, though, is that their stock is getting absolutely hammered. Their market cap's at 320 million. They're down 78% since IPO, and they're now trading at below 1 times enterprise value to revenue, which is insane. Like,
they need to get Davey Day Trader on the case, right? It's time to bring in the green hammer to save Canaan. Is it Canaan or Canaan? Like,
I still don't know, and I'm kind of embarrassed, but I call it Canaan.
I don't know. Maybe all the Bible studies growing up, it's just every time I see it, I want to pronounce it Canaan. I don't know. Who knows? So yeah. For anyone who doesn't understand that 1x, what does that actually mean?
Yeah. So the 1x EV to revenue, which is called, is basically, it's a valuation multiple where you say for every $1 of enterprise value, which is the worth of the company, how much revenue do they have to generate? So if they trade at 1 times revenue, that means that for every $1 of revenue they generate, they get $1 in value. And so somebody like eBank trades at 6 times, which means that they generate $1 of revenue and they get $6 of value in their public valuation.
Sure.
And so you ultimately usually want a higher multiple because it shows that you're more valuable for every dollar of either revenue you generate or EBITDA or cash flow or whatever metric you're using at the time. So I think this is something that we're going to do on Hash Rate Index, but we're going to start really consolidating some of the different mining companies, like different trading multiples, so that you can start to get a view on, okay, if I generate $1 of EBITDA at a mining farm level, like how much value would that be if I was a public company?
When do you guys plan on rolling that out?
I don't want to say anything because Guzman's going to kill me, but
a date I can hold you to.
Within a month or two.
There we go.
Here's our stocks page as of now, and a lot of people don't realize how many publicly listed mining companies there are. There's Argo, which is based in the UK but has operations Canada and the US. There's Bitfarms, obviously we've talked about before. Canaan, a no-name company called CryptoStar, based out of Toronto. DMG, which is based a few blocks away from me, we talked about last week. eBang. There's a few no names left here. Hive Blockchain, Hut 8, Integrated Ventures, Marathon Patent Group, MGT, Northern Data, Riot Blockchain, Skychain Technologies, and Tall. Like, what a list! That's a lot of publicly traded mining companies.
That is a lot of publicly traded mining companies, and only 2 in the U.S. Yeah.
Mara,
so
Riot,
Mara and Riot.
Yeah, and then the manufacturers.
Yeah, right. Yeah. God, man, I'm surprised that the manufacturers haven't seen any kind of positive price action in these markets. It's interesting. What do you make of that? Why are we not seeing an uptick in eBang and Canaan despite Bitcoin's positive price action? I mean, most of the people who are trading these markets, if you're talking about like, why is no one from retail caught on to this? And like a Davey Day Trader for sure, spun the narrative up to where these things move up in price.
I think they're competing with Bitcoin, unfortunately. Like other stocks, they don't have to compete with Bitcoin because an investor doesn't look and be like, I'm going to buy Bitcoin or equity, at least not the usual one. But with Canaan's investors, I think that is a really big consideration, is a lot of their investors are like close to the crypto space. They're like, why would I buy Canaan stock when I could buy,
Bitcoin,
Rune Chain, or Bitcoin, or
Rune Chain,
little shell.
Jesus,
Hey, I need a pump.
It's Thor Chain. Rune is the token.
I'm terrible at pumping my own bags here. I can't even get the chain right.
Yeah, this is probably not the right medium for that at all. If you're not pumping Bitcoin on this show, there's really nothing else to pump.
Yeah. So I think that's probably why their stock has been not on a rip with the normal equity markets and with Bitcoin price. But or even Bitcoin sentiment for that matter.
Yeah.
I'm not that bullish on Canaan because they can't get a very good efficiency miner out. Their last one was like pretty good, but it still can't compete with what's miner Bitmain. And until it does, I don't see why it would be like $1 billion plus company.
Yeah, I have no comment on that.
I'm rooting for them though. I'm rooting for them. Like I hope they do get one that's competitive to Bitmain and what's miner.
Yeah, your face shows all of that excitement.
Yeah, I'm slowly lighting up here. The sun is rising 7 a.m. here.
We got Ethan out of bed early for this one. Well, look, man, I definitely want to get into to hash price before we wrap the show up. It's been an interesting week. Nice drawdown in price for Bitcoin. What does that mean for miners?
Yeah, you're right. Like the drawdown in Bitcoin price was the main driver here. So last week we were talking, and the hash price was at just under 10 cents a terahash per day. Now we're looking at an environment where it's below 8, so a 14% drop week over week. Largely due to the price of Bitcoin, right? We were close to 12K, and now we skirted with 10K a bit. I think slightly over as of this morning, but still a pretty big drop there.
Yeah.
The other news, the other thing that people haven't really been realizing is transaction fees have come down pretty significantly. So over the past 24 hours, it's been about 7%.
You know why? Does anyone know why? We told you guys about this when we saw the last spike. Retail traders are not trading as much now. So you're going to see these transaction fees drop. Right now, sentiment, people are scared. They think alt season is over. They think it's trading is done, and they're sitting sidelined in Tether or in Bitcoin or in ETH, and they are not trading. So showing the charts just proving it out.
Yeah, we're starting to hit a decline a little bit here, so you got to get them trading again.
Hey man, Hashrate has no plans of launching a DeFi project. I don't. It's all I can say. It's look. I think that we should see a nice rebound from the market. I don't think that this run is over, but I think it could get worse before it gets better. I think we could easily go down and revisit the 8,000 to 9,000 range. How long we stay down there, who knows? We might just get a nice death candle down there and then back up, and it just be a nasty wick. But hopefully that's the case, right? Like hopefully it's just a crash and then we bounce back up and we get above 9K and we stay above 9,500 for quite a while. But I don't know though, man. Like, what's the capitulation scenario like now? I mean, we're talking pre-halving about post-halving, kind of where it would need to be, right, for us to see minor capitulation. That occurred and we didn't see it. So
I don't think capitulation makes sense. Like as the dollars per terahash decreases, obviously more hash rate will naturally fall off the market at the same efficiency level, but we're adding a bunch of higher efficiency machines. So that target is changing dynamically. Every minute those machines are getting plugged in, and so the average is changing. You're seeing that now. So hash price decreased 14% week over week, yet hash rate is skyrocketing right now. And there's a few reasons for that, but one of them is because of these S19 is being plugged in. In this difficulty epoch, we found just under 350 blocks when we should have only found 300. So we're on pace for some potentially double-digit increase in difficulty next retarget, which happens in, I think, 11 days from now.
Yeah. Crazy.
So the minor capitulation thing, I don't think we'll ever see it. Yeah. Obviously, a drawdown in price should have a drawdown in hash rate if new machines aren't being plugged in. But there's always dozens of different considerations at this point.
Yeah. I guess between now, for the foreseeable future, we're going to see new machines coming on every month. So, in theory, we should just see this continue to climb, right? Despite price action. Now, notwithstanding some massive black swan event, but
yeah, Szechuan rating season is going to end soon too. So that should maybe take some hash rate off the network. Thomas Heller does a really good job reporting those seasons. So I think that will have an effect, but ultimately, hash rate number go up.
Hash rate number go up. There we go. All right. So, Ethan, as we get to wrapping up today's show, a little bit brief for everyone out there, but wanted to hit it hard and fast. Make sure that Ethan makes his flight. Is there anything else that you wanted to discuss this week before we wrap it up?
Maybe let's do a quick rig price update. Let me.
Okay, one last. Let's get it. What is this website?
I'm getting. My room is getting ridiculous here. It's starting to look like Canaan from your Bible studies here. So yeah, big week in rig prices, reflecting, I think, market sentiment. Obviously, a little drawdown in Bitcoin price, but overall still positive sentiment. So we're seeing that being reflected in ASICs as well as the restricted supply. New gen up 6%, second gen up 2%, third gen up 21%. Insane on a huge tear here from $7 a terahash to now $11. And I think that's really the news story over the past few weeks is this gen bucket on a huge tear.
Yeah. And that's the 15s, right? 13s and 15s.
Actually, it came to my attention that some of the S9 models are actually in there because there's so many different S9s. There are some S9s that are in this efficiency bucket that are below the 100 joules per terahash. So definitely the hot commodity in the market right now.
There you go. All right. Well, I think it's a pretty good summary of everything going on in the world of Bitcoin mining and proof of work this week. For us here at Proof of News, I'm Whit. This is Ethan. We'll talk to you guys again next week. Thanks for watching this episode of Proof of News, a Hashrate TV production. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing for more great content like this every day of the week. In addition, feel free to leave a comment below and let us know what you'd like to see discussed on the next episode of Proof of News. We'd love to hear from you. Also, if you head over to hashrate.com, you can sign up for our free weekly newsletter, Difficulty Adjustment. Every Wednesday morning, we provide you with the latest news and information on Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and mining. Plus, each week, one newsletter subscriber will be selected at random to receive a free Ledger Nano-esque cryptocurrency wallet. So go ahead and sign up today. Who knows? You may be the next lucky winner. Want more from Hashrate? Follow Hashrate TV on Twitter. It's the easiest way to keep track of our newest content all in one place. That's at HASHR8_TV. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you very soon. Please remember that all content appearing on this or any other Hashrate channel is strictly for informational and entertainment purposes only. You should not construe any such information as legal, tax, investment, financial, or other advice. Consult a licensed financial advisor before investing yours or anyone else's money.